This is CIS256, and today we're going to continue with Django models. So Django models are a level of abstraction on top of the SQL that we talked about the last class. So rather than writing a raw SQL language and create a database this way, we're using Python's classes and objects to manipulate the data instead. It creates a safety layer on top of the raw model so that you don't fall into some caveat such as the SQL injection fallacy. So let's create a new project. And again, Django admin provides a command, start project, and I'm call it airline. Okay. So now you can see I have a new airline project created. And if you see into the airline project, you can actually start an app inside the project called, let's say, manage.py, start app with, let's call it flights. Okay, so now you can see the flights is added. Now, as usual, in the project, you're gonna add the the usual stuff, the routes into the URLs. So we're gonna add, well, first of all, we want to, in the settings, we want to install the app, right? In the settings, we want to install the app. So the app will be called flights. So we're gonna put it here, flights, okay? So now we have this app installed. We need to add a route in the path, the url.py. Let's call it flights with the leading slash. I'm using double quotes. Actually, doesn't matter. And we're gonna do include flights.urls. Now you have to import include, of course. Okay, so once you've done all that, there you go. And we're gonna create a urls.py in flights. Okay, and inside the url.py in the app, you're gonna add from Django .urls import path from import view and URL pattern. And oops, patterns, we're gonna say pass views. Well, let's don't do that for now, okay? So now rather than creating actual path and getting start with views.py like we did last class, we'll create some models or data models in the model.py. So this is the first time we introduce model.py, okay? In this file, we'll outline what data or tables we want to store in our application. This is where you design the model part, right? The database. Then the Django will determine the SQL context syntax necessary to store the information on each of your models. So let's take a look at what a model for a single flight might look like. So in order to do that, you can do a class flights. Again, it's an object-oriented model, right? You create a class called flight, which is like flight table. and you import, it's inherited by the model layer. Okay, so in this class, origin, we have 3 columns. Origin is models.char field. Let's say max length equal to 64. Let's say 64 characters. And then there's destination is models.char field. Okay. Again, the same max length equals 64. And then there is a duration, right? Remember that what we did last class? Duration is models.integer field. Integer field, that's duration. So in the first line, create a model that extends Django's model class. And then we add fields of origin, destination, duration. The first 2 are char fields, meaning they store the strings, and third is integer field. And then we specify maximum length 64 for 2 character fields. You can check specification in the document. All right, so now, even though we create a model, we do not yet have a database yet to store this information. And to create a database in our models, we navigate to the main directory of project. And then we're gonna do this Python 3 manage.py, make migrations. So this command, oops, URL patterns. Well, I'm gonna just delete this for now. I'll save all, clear, and fast URL from secret import. Right. Let's see. URL pattern. Use the valid pattern in the file. So yeah, you have to do one pattern. Let's say URL patterns. We're gonna add, oops. Let's add a pass. Views.index, name index as usual. Okay. In the views, I'm gonna define my views here. Index request. Okay. Well, we're gonna do that later, right? So we're gonna do that later. So I guess models is the one that we need to create. Yeah, and Python 3 manager.py make migrations. Okay, so now you can see we created a database db.sqlite3 migration for flights, and you can see we create the initial flight table. Now we want to apply the migration to our database, so we're gonna do Python 3 manage.py migrate. So this is actually migrate. After that, you can see the flights table is created. So now let's begin working additional information, manipulating some data in the shell. So basically, you can do that in the shell. You can do Python 3 manager.py and shell. So that will open a SQLite shell for you. Okay. And then you can import the flight model from flights. Okay, dot models and import flight. Okay, so we import that. Next, we're gonna create an object flight, and with origin, as you can see, this is like a Python object, and you can create a data entry by filling the fields. Destination, London, and duration is 145 minutes, and sorry, for 15 minutes. Okay, so that's an object, and then you can save it. So now you create an entry in the database. How you know? Well, you can query the database, not writing the SQL, but you can say flight dot objects dot all. So once you do that, you can see it's gonna give you that flight object. Now you notice that it's not very informative. We can fix that. So inside the model.py, this is a regular Python class, so you can define how to represent that object. We define a string method, and you can just return the f string. I'm gonna do self.id with self.origin to self.destination. Okay, so use this syntax. I created a good representation. Now, if you do that, you have to go back to shell, and you can assign flights to flight dot objects dot all, and if you display the flights, you can actually you probably need to migrate again, make migrations and migrate, and then you can do the shell, and after you have to do that again. Sorry, because this is a shell, and I'm going to copy this. And then if I display flights here, as you can see, it's now more readable, right? So flight ID with destination, origin to destination. All right. So now let's go back to the shell, and we can also display some fields of that flight. For example, flight is flights.first entry, and that's your flight. Okay, and you can also display flight.id, flight.origin, and flight.destination, and flight.duration. Okay, so you can display all kinds of things using object-oriented way. This is good. So think back earlier, we don't want to have to store the city name as origin destination for every flight. So we probably want another model for airport, somehow related to the flight model. So let's go back to the model.py and create another class called airport. Okay. Again, it inherited models.model. Oh, okay. So now in that airport class, and we have an airport code, models, chart field, and maximum length. It's a 3-character code, airport code, and city is models dot car field, and maximum length is 64. Again, this is for interpretation. So now, of course, we make a better representation, and we define this as f string self dot city and self dot code. Okay, so now we create another model airport, and so we can, and then we have to change this flight a little bit, right? So what we want to do is, instead of origin is a car field, we can say origin is a foreign key now. A foreign key with airport on delete equal to models dot cascade. I will expand this later. Related name equal to departures. Okay. And so same for destination. Models dot foreign key airport on delete equal to models dot cascade related name equal to arrivals. Okay, so destination is arrival. Airport, I'm gonna put this in the beginning so it will know how to reference to it. Okay, so yeah, these are the foreign keys now. Duration is an integer. Okay, so we have seen everything in our new airport class before, but changes to the origin and destination fields within the flight class are now new to us, right? So the origin and destination fields are each of foreign keys, which means they refer to another object. By entering airport, our first argument, we specify a type of object this field refers to. It's airport. And then the next argument on delete is cascade, give us instructions for what should happen if the airport is deleted. In this case, we specify when an airport is deleted, all flights associated with that airport should also be deleted. That's called cascade. There are several other options to cascade. We also provide a related name, which gives us a way to search for all flights with a given airport as their origin or destination. So that's the related name, departure and arrival. And now, once you done that, we're gonna do is have to unfortunately, I have to quit and then do Python 3 migrate manager.py, make migration and migrations, and then Python 3 manage.py migrate. The row and foreign key does not have a corresponding value. Okay, so I guess we need to delete that DB3, and then we can make migrations and migrate. Now we create an empty, right? Because there's some old data that is not suitable anymore. So now let's look at the Django shell. So let's look at the shell. So now in the shell, again, from flights, models import. We have to import everything. Then create some new airports. JFK equal to airport. Code equal to JFK. City equal to New York. Okay. And LHR is airport. Code equal to LHR. City equal to London. Oh yeah, capitalize. Okay, and then CDG is airport. Code CDG, city, go to Paris. So, and then finally, NRT, airport, code, go to NRT, city equal to Tokyo. All right, so create a bunch of airports. Now we have to save it. Otherwise, it will not be persistent to the database. Okay, so now we can add a flight now. So rather than give them the origin equal to instead of the string now, we can give them object. Right, origin is JFK, destination is LHR, and then duration is 415. Okay, f.save. Now if I type F, you can see it's flight from New York to London. It automatically expands that foreign key and give you the right answer, right? And if I say f.origin, you can say it's air JFK, and I also can say LHR arrivals.all, LHR, use a related name query airport by arrival. Arrivals.all. You can see New York to London, right? So now we can begin to build the application around this process using models to interact with the database. To begin to create index route to our airplane, we already have these views. Pass views, index names, index. Inside the views, we can actually we can say from current models, we can import flight and airport. Okay, so now we import these two models and create a views here, index. So what we can do is the return, render, and request, and flights index.html. We're going to create that shortly, and then a parameter which says flights flight dot objects dot all. So we get all flights from this query, and then we're going to create a layout.html file in the let's see, we're going to create a template here called templates flights. And then inside it, we're going to create layout.html. Inside it, we have this guy, right? So we're going to have flights, and then we're going to create index.html. Okay, remember, we're going to inherit the template. So extend flight layout HTML and flight. So we're going to create a flight ID, origin to destination, and so on. Okay. All right. So once we have that, we have done is create a default page where we have all the flights created so far. We open the page, and actually, let me save it. Save all. So if you save all, let's make migrations, migrate, and then we're gonna do run server, right? Run server. Okay, so now looks like it's okay. We're gonna open a web page. Okay, we're gonna do is localhost 8000, and you can see there is a flights, so we're gonna say flights. So now you can see, oops. Flight ID. So we're at line 8. Let's go back to line 8. So okay, let's delete this first. Okay. We just to the flight. Okay, just do that, and is it flight not found the function pattern name? Yeah, let's see. URL.py. Blue.py. Okay. Let's run again. Looks like it's running, and let's go back to and look at the flights. Okay, cool. Now it's working. So you can see we created flight New York, London, and it's showing on this website. Okay. Yeah, that's success. Now let's add some more flights. So application return to the Django shell. So let's do that. Okay. Add more. So Python 3 manager.py shell, and then we're gonna from flights models import everything, and then airport objects filter city equal to New York, and it will query that New York, right? And we can get command to get only airport in New York, right? So we can say get and that give you only New York. So we can create a new flight, origin equal to JFK again, destination equal to this became CDG, duration equal to 435. So another flight. It's not defined. Oh yeah, JFK is we can the airport dot objects dot get, and then we can query city equal to New York. So now we get the JFK, and CDG of course is airport dot objects dot get city equal to Paris. Okay, by doing that, we get CDG and that, and you can save it here, and then f.save. Now you have another flight. So if you visit the site again, okay, run server, migrate, and make migrations, and migrate, and run server. And then if you go back to the website, and you can see we added another flight from JFK to CDG. So it's very common for developers to have to create new objects like we're doing this in the shell. It's very tedious. The Django comes with a default admin interface that allows to do this more easily. To begin this tool, we must first create an admin user. So to do that, we're gonna have to create a user. So what you do is Python 3 manage create super user. So username, we can say we can use child and email address like gmail.com, and then password is okay. So now we I'm going to use that. Okay, so now we add our models to the admin application by entering the admin.py file within our app here, and importing registering our models tells Django which model would like to have access to the admin app. So here we can say from .models import flight and airport. Okay, so these two we want to add to the admin pages. And you have to register your models here by admin.site.register. we can register flight. And then same here, admin dot site dot register airport. Okay, so now you register these two models. When you visit site and admin to the URL, we can log into page. It looks like this. So let's go back to on server and go back to this. So instead of go to flights, you can say admin. Now you can see there's admin pages for Django, and you can put your username, just create it. So now you can see there's the admin interface here, and there's already airports and flights is being created for you. So now we can add more pages to our site. We'll begin by adding the ability to click on a flight to get more. We can add some airports. Right? Say, for example, we can add another airport code PVG, and city is Shanghai. And then we can add another code. I don't know. Did we add more? Can't think of. Oh, PHX, city Phoenix. Say, all right. So we have Phoenix, Shanghai, Tokyo, Paris, London, New York. So these are the airports. And we can also add flights. We can add a flight from Paris to Tokyo, and let's say 777 duration, save another. We can say from Shanghai to Phoenix, and this is like AA8. Okay, so we add a bunch of flights here. You can see it's much easier to do that in the admin pages. So let's add a few more pages to our site. We'll begin by adding the ability to click on the flight to get more information about it. To do this, a URL path include the ID of a flight. So let's go back to the Django interface. Okay. So in the URL.py, we're going to create another path. Okay. The path is, let's say, int flight ID. And you can say views dot flight name equal to flight. Okay. In views.py, oh, we need a, all right. Let's see this one. No, in views.py, we're going to define flight. So the flight ID for each individual flight, and let's get from the model flight dot objects dot get ID equal to flight ID. So we're going to query the particular ID with the flight, and then we're going to return render request and flight.html and some parameters flight. Okay, so now we create a template to display this flight information with a link back to the home page. So you go to the index.html, and we're gonna create a flight.html. So we're gonna add called flight.html, and then in that we're gonna do this. Okay, extends layout, flight ID, and on the list, origin, destination, duration, and we're gonna add a link. A anchor link. Sorry. Huh? Wait, what? Yes. href equal to URL index all flights. Okay. And of course we need to and block. Okie dokie. So we need to also add a big link from one page to another to modify index to include this. Okay. So we have to include this. Oops. So each individual flight. Okay, so we made this flight ID a URL link that links back to the flight HTML. And then another link here, you can click to go to the index. So, and to see all the flights. Okay, so now if you go back to the website, and let's just go back to the flights, not admin page, but flights. So you can see that I have flight 1, flight 2, flight 3, flight 4, and you click on individual flight. Oops, it has some errors, I guess, to register lotus tag and block. Oh, there is a typo. It's very intricate here. Should be and block. Okay, that should work. Yes, so the flight 1, you have the details, origin, destination, duration. If you click on that, you go to flight 2, click on that, flight 3, click on that, flight 4. So that's the thing. Okay, so now let's work on integrating passenger into our models. We create a passenger model to get started. So let's get to the passenger side. Okay. So now we add flights, we add, let's see, airport, then it's time to do passengers. Passenger, again, inherit from models, dot model. And so what's the attribute? First name is models dot child field and maximum length equal to 64. Same as last name, same child field, maximum length is 64. And flights. So passenger has flights, models dot. So we have, so a flight has many passengers. A passenger can take many flights. So we have many to many relationship. Because many to many field and it takes flight. Okay, passenger has flight, blank equal to true. That means it can be blank. Related name is passengers. Okie dokie. And of course, finally, we define a string. And then here we can have a self dot first name, and then self dot last name. All right, so that's the passenger object. Passenger have a management relationship with flights, which is described in Django using many-to-many field. First argument is the field is class of object that's 1 straight 2. So flights, and we have provided argument blank or true, which means the passenger can have no flights. And we also had add a written name that serves the same purpose as it did earlier. It will allow us to find all passengers on a given flight. To actually make these changes, we must make a migrate. And we can then register passenger model in admin.py, visit the admin page to create some passengers. Okay. So we can actually go to the admin.py and admin.site.register. We have to import passenger. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. And then in a views.py, in the flight, we also want to add passengers. Okay, get all the passengers and HTML flight is flight. Passengers is passengers. Okay, so we add not only the flight, but also passengers. And flight.html, we need to also add passengers. Where should we add it? Let's add to h2 here. Add here h2 passengers, and then on the list for passenger in passengers. I we're gonna list the passenger, and then there's also a possibility that you don't have any passengers, then you have to still define something to. So if it's empty result, you're gonna display no passengers. So basically, you need something for that, and for. Okie dokie. So we finish that. We can click on flight. We can, but we need to first of all go back to the admin to add some passengers. Admin. Oops. We forgot to migrate. So every time you change a database, you want to migrate, make migrations and migrate. And then run server and add. And we can add Ron, Weasley, and Lights, David another, and Harry Potter, and add Hermione Granger. All right, so we added the 3 passengers here. Now if we go to flights, oops, not enemy anymore, just flights. And then you can see there is also, oops, all flights, passengers. So now let's work on giving visitor to our site and ready to book a flight, right? We're gonna book a flight. We'll do this by adding a booking route URL. So let's go back to Django. And then we want to add a booking. So in the URL.py, we're gonna add has flight ID and /book and views.book name equal to book. Okie doke. So now we add a book function now, right? So this is a route. We have to add a views.py, a book function. So how to book? Request flight ID. Okay. So we have a post request. So if request dot method equal to post. So if it's a post request, we're gonna get a flight. PK flight.id. So we get a flight, okay, and find the passenger ID from the submitted form. Passenger ID is the request dot post message. It's a dictionary, and we're gonna get passenger. So, and then we can find a passenger according to the ID. Because that, and then add a passenger to the flight. Okay. Redirect user to the first page. Yeah, we have to import passenger, and then we added that flights and return HTTP response redirect with reverse lookup flight args equal to flight.id. Okie doke. All right. So of course we need to import the reverse. So from Django URLs, import reverse airport passenger. I don't need airport for now. I just passenger. Okay. Oh, of course, and then we have Django HTTP import HTTP response. Redirect. Okay, so with that, we finished the booking. Oh, the URLs. Okay, name. Okay, typo. All right, so we have some context of flight template so that the page has access to everyone who's not currently a passenger on a flight using Django to exclude certain object from the query. So in this guy, we not only have passengers, okay, in views.py in the booking in the flight. So we have passengers is that, and we also have non-passengers. And that is passenger dot objects dot exclude flights equal to flight and dot all. So that's non-passengers. Oh, wait. Sorry, we should do it here. Cut here. Non-passenger. Here you go. So yeah. And then this guy also. So yeah. Yeah, render. Okay, though. So this is the flight and book. Now we'll add a form to our flight HTML using a select import field. So in the flight.html, we also want to add a form. And let's add a passenger here. So here we're gonna add a passenger. H2 add passenger, so which is a form. We'll explain this later. Book flight.id. Of course, oops. Message post, and I'll explain that. Let me just copy and paste here. So of course, cross-site CSRP token we'll talk about previously. Select name is passenger, passenger non-passengers, value is passenger ID, and for. So basically, you give them a passenger that's not yet booked in the flight. So give them the options, and that is add. Now let's see the size block. I want to go to flight page and then add a passenger. Let me just save it. And then let's go back and let's see flights. And you can see we can add a passenger here and here. And then if we look at that, it's already added. So another advantage of using the Django admin app is that it's customizable, right? For example, if we wish to see all the aspect flight in the admin interface, we can create a new class within admin.py. Admin.py, we can create a class flight. So we can customize the admin page. And we can list the display is ID. So we can specify what to be displayed, origin and destination and duration, right? We can actually ask them to display this. And then also passenger admin. Model admin. We can filter horizontal flags. So we can do all these customizations here. Now we visit the admin page, we can see the ID as well, right? So we go to the admin page. And if I want to see flights, and you can see this is the new format, ID, origin to. So the last thing we are discussing lecture today is the idea of authentication or allowing user logging out of the website. Fortunately, Django makes it very easy for us. So let's go through an example how we would do this. We'll start by creating a new app called users. So this is flight, but we also want to log in. So let's go back to migrations, migrate. Okay, so for the user login, we're gonna create another app. This is a very, very easy. So I guess we're gonna create the users, right? So create a new app called the users. Python 3 manager.py create app. Start app. We call it users. Okay. So now let's go to users and create a URL patterns. URLs.py and let's just copy it from this. Okay, and then index to index, we can give them login. You can create login and views dot login view and name equal to login. And then there's logout, right? Views dot logout view, and the name is logout. All right. So created that, And we can create a form where we can use a login. We can create a layout.html. We're gonna create template users, and then we're gonna create layout.html. In there, we can do this layout. Okay, and then we need a form. We need to create login page. And in the login page, you're gonna create a form. Okay. So login, username, password, submit. And then we're gonna create a logout page, which is basically another form. Okay. And then we also create a user page. In the user page, that means you already logged in, right? And so that's where your authenticate is good. Then I'm going to show you the users first name, last name, email, and you can have a link to log out. Okay, so we create all the views. Now in views.py, we're going to create some logic. Okay. We're going to define index. So when first go to default, so if not request that user is authenticated. So if user is not authenticated, then we're gonna return the HTTP redirect, reverse. We're gonna go to login page again, right? Otherwise, we're gonna return render request and user.html. So we're gonna render this. So in login view, this is a controller. Login view, we're gonna say if the request, the method is equal to post. So you submit the form to log in, we get username is request.post and username is and password. So we get user and password from user for the post request. Okay, so now we're gonna do authenticate request username equal to username, password equal to password. Okay, if user is not none, so we get the user, we can log in with request.user. Otherwise, and then we got to return HTTP response redirect reverse to lookup index page, right? So that's if user is found. Otherwise, you're gonna do is return render request users login.html. So we're gonna redirect user to login with some parameters. The parameters are message. So you're gonna show some message to say invalid credentials. Okay. And then you're gonna return, finally return render request users login.html. So now let's do log out view. Log out view. Again, you just click log out. You just log out. Okay. And we're gonna return render request users login.html. So once you log out, you're gonna show the login page again because it's logged out, and give a message with you're logged out. All right, cool. So we get all these things. Now we finish. Here's a demonstration of the site. Users login, right? So you're gonna do migrations, migrate, and run server. Oh, actually, we have to go to the users page, right? Okay, so if you go to the, oh, I need to install the app, right? You need to install the app. Forgot about that. So in users, well, in the URLs, no, settings. Yeah, you have to install users, okay? You're gonna save all. So now if you do users, oops, oh, you have to add the URL. And you still have to add urls.py. Right? So then you can do users. There's another, let's see what's in template loader and get template. User.html. Oh yeah, you haven't. So user.html. Yeah, it's there. Let's see. in user.html, right? Let's see. Apps.py. Here's up. Users. Okay. So yeah. Here you go. Username and password, and we can log out. And again, another 7 was no attribute get. Let's go back to the logout page. Logout. Okay, okay. Oh, okay about this. Okay. So now if I say log out, yeah, and then you can log in again, and you're logging in. Okay, so that's all for the lecture, and you just go through this Django models and practice. Okay, and have a good night. Bye.